I asked Triforce if Brady got it, and if he knew I even sent it. He's like, yeah, he got it. He knows, blah blah blah. So I think it was on Sunday, or it was actually on maybe Monday during the day. He actually texted me, and he asked me, wait, where is it? Do I still have it? Yeah. He goes, yo, is Wtih tomorrow? This was actually no, this wasn't yesterday. This was the 21st at like 8 o'clock at night. I was like, yeah, it is. No answer. I didn't hear anything from him. And I was like, okay. And then I wrote to him. I was like, you're welcome, by the way, because I sent them the money. No response. It's been 3-4 days now, and I didn't even get a thank you from him. And I just think it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And
I wouldn't have put him on blast if he just says like, yo, thanks for helping me out. But I mean, he didn't say shit. He just asked me, and that's the thing. He asked me if there was gonna be a Wtih show, this Monday. And I mean, well, we didn't have one, but I did say yes. And then, like, either later that night or the next day, when you guys posted up your show, I saw that he was going to be on it. And I also took that as, like,
a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't care what show he's on, but, he asked me, and I said yes, and then he just doesn't respond.
I think you know what I think the problem is? The host of the show has to be a mandatory 250 plus pounds. In order for him to go like under the puddle or under the dirt, whatever the fuck avoiding the puddle into the shit.
Actually, didn't I'm just hearing about that now.
Yeah, eating the hot pocket or whatever the fuck the name of the show is. Yeah, it without a doubt really pisses me the fuck off. Because I said to him I had other people lined up, but you know what? Here it is. Fuck you, Tom Brady. You mean shit to the community. Maybe to the little Sub-Zero world, but to the community you mean shit. Because you know what? You didn't let me down. I saw people, I mean, I'm not so high and mighty. I go, NaTaS will post up, who we got coming on the show. I go through every one of those, and NaTaS is a pain in my ass because he puts those fucking things up everywhere. He's like one of those club promoters that just start throwing those fucking annoying pamphlets all over your fucking car in a parking lot.
Well, that's how you do it, man.
And I go through every one of those. I look and I read every little one of them. I mean, you were up to like 7 or 8 comments on like Shoryuken. I go through MKU. I go to MKO. I go to all these and I read what everybody says. And there was a lot of people there that were like, yo, I want to see this because I want to see Tom Brady. So he didn't spit in my face. He spit in the community's face. And unless he turns around and says his dick fell off, he has no fucking excuse. None. I sat with him, and I even told him.
That's not even an excuse, because if his dick fell off, you should have messaged and be like, hey, my dick fell off. I can't make it.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's
James,
sad.
add him to the call. That's Daniel. That's DJ Toro.
Somebody's asking, but I lent him $20. I mean, I think he needed like $35 or whatever, I think, to get where he needed to go. But I had 20 in my PayPal account, so that's why I just was like, fuck it, And plus, I mean, I've known Brady for a while. We've hung out. I've, drove him like to a tournament. Like, I thought we were cool, but obviously he's a user, so.
Hey, you take the Daniel. You here?
Yeah, I'm on. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. All right, listen, guys. NaTaS, take it for a second. I'm going to. I was actually, and this is funny, guys. I met Homeboy Tyson now, and I actually recorded a track that he's trying to get me recording stuff nowadays. We might actually do it. I don't want to call it a duet because it ain't a duet. But we might do a rap track together one day if I get as good as him. But I'm going to find that track because it's dedicated to these fucks.
A collaboration?
Yeah, we might do a collaboration together.
Yeah.
Oh, and what? Yeah, because we'll Revolver ask. Well, Carried, I don't know if you're listening to this, but I said it like 2-3 times. I lent him $20. And Revolver asked me if Brady gave me, because me, Brady, Rio, and Revolver all went to. Shit, what was that tournament? Philly, Winter Brawl? We all went together. And, like, I offered Rio a ride because I know at that time Rio, I know he didn't really have a lot of money or anything. So I offered him the ride. I didn't really expect anything from him. Revolver did chip in, but Brady kind of, like, asked, like, hey, can I come too? And he didn't give me shit for anything. And I don't even remember him saying thank you. So there's another fuck you to him.
Well, that's because he's Tom Brady.
So what?
He's a legend.
Well, apparently.
Hey, one more thing about Brady, real quick. So in Dallas, every other week we have this local tournament, D-Town Beatdown, right? And so there's a page on Test Your Might about it. And it was like, I don't know, a week and a half ago, something like that. Brady posts on the page. He's like, "Hey guys, is there casuals going on in town? Like, I'm in town this weekend." Instead of being like, "All right, guys, like I'll come out to this tournament," like instead of supporting the tournament, right? And if Brady says he's going to the tournament, I mean, somebody's going to be like, "Oh, well, Brady's going, so maybe I'll go," whatever, right? Like, he may be a dick or whatever, but if he puts his name on the tournament, some people will go, right? But instead, he's like, "Hey guys, is there any casuals going on?" We're like, "Dude, Brady, there's a fucking tournament. You're posting on the tournament page. Like, come on." And the tournament only ended up getting like 5 people, but whatever. I mean, we all had fun anyway, but it could have been productive instead of posting on the tournament page being like, "Hey guys, you want to do something like play Mortal Kombat somewhere else instead of playing at the fucking tournament."
All right, let me give you guys a little sample of OBS Homeboy Tyson working with me. I mean, like I said, I'm not no rap star, so it's kind of pieced together here, but we'll let y'all determine.
You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing. You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing. You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing. You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing.
Oh, it's in the stream.
Oh,
Hot pocket nigga, you ain't shit, your opinion means nothing. You fat slob, I'm here to talk about something. You opened your mouth, who the fuck are you? In the house of goon service and niggas too. You sucking on dick every single day. Your opinion means shit to this MK community. You don't like it, well you can lick my fucking ass. That's right, motherfucker, your ass fucking trash. Hot pocket nigga,
you ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing. You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing. You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing. You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing.
Hot pocket nigga, you ain't shit, your opinion means nothing. You fat slob, I'm here to talk about something. You opened your mouth, who the fuck are you? In the house of goon service and niggas too. You sucking on dick every single day. Your opinion means shit to this MK community. You don't like it, well you can lick my fucking ass. That's right, motherfucker, your ass fucking trash. Hot pocket nigga,
you ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing. You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing. You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing. You ain't shit, your opinion's nothing, nothing, nothing.
Hot pocket nigga, you ain't shit, your opinion means nothing. You fat slob, I'm here to talk about something. You opened your mouth, who the fuck are you? In the house of goon service and niggas too. You sucking. Anyway, guys, that's Hot Pockets Part 1. So, working my way on to maybe having a rap career.
I like it. I got to hear the end of it. Finally figured it out. Just wanted to bring up, I don't know if you guys saw what Revolver said, but that Brady took a bed in their room at Winter Brawl, which already had 8 people in it, and he wasn't even supposed to be there.
Here we go. I got, speaking of devil.
Speaking of devil.
Wait, is that Brady calling him? Wait, we can't hear it? He muted it? Well, you should put that shit on speakerphone.
Yo, where, man? What the fuck?
No,
Why
put
you
on
gotta mute it?
speakerphone. Come on, James. I just got off the phone with him. So what?
All right, to all you Hot Pocket niggas out there, guess who I have? Joining me in a second will be none other than the man who shoots cum out of his ass for OBS Homeboy Tyson. So let us get Mr. Brady in here. I guess he heard me being angry.
Maybe he heard all of us.
He heard us all.
I know what he's gonna say. He's gonna say, "Oh, Triforce didn't tell me it was you."
No, because I talked directly with Tom yesterday on the phone. Yeah. By the way, guys, I can't drink no more.
Wait, what?
I can't drink no more after
Why?
today for 90 days.
What?
Yeah, I'm not going to jail, but I got to wear a bracelet.
Wait,
Yeah.
for 90 days?
90 days, which sucks.
What's your
ass.
limit?
What do you mean? What's my limit? Like, not drinking.
Wait, what bracelet?
I gotta wear a pretty little bracelet that if you drink, it sets off a thing for.
What?
Yeah. I know. Trust me,
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it.
Yo, just to say, if anybody, like, when people want to come on a show, because a lot of people are like in the chat blowing it up, all the person has to do is message the person who's running the call on Skype.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "Let Pig on."
Okay.
Like,
Everybody, he's joined us, Mr. Tom Brady. What's up, sir? You were pissing me off. I was like, yo, fucking this guy ain't gonna show up. I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh, I'm here.
Well, you had to go to the store and buy Jop and Eddie Piston some Hot Pockets?
No.
Tom, you're very low. We barely hear you.
Hold on. Hold on.
It's sounding better now.
How about now?
Yeah, you're all right now.
Better.
Yeah, better? Okay. Alright. So, how are you gentlemen doing this
We're
evening?
doing good. I wanted to get you in. I had John Turk on right before you, man. I figured you get to talk to the real deal Sub-Zero, man.
Yeah, well, it's cool that you had the real Sub-Zero on here. Turk was, he was Sub-Zero, Shang Tsung, and Shang Tsung, right?
Shang Tsung, and he did the ninjas, Scorpion. He did all the ninjas. And
Yeah.
he pretty much did everybody in MK3.
Yeah, Turk is he's a big-ass dude, man. Pretty well put together. Keeps himself in pretty good shape.
Let me, Mr. McCaskill wants to get in here too, but Brant, you gotta give me a few. I don't want to fucking overload the room. So, I'm not going to hit you in the side of the head with this. I'm just gonna say, yeah, I mean, we saw the thread, you know, as far as in the video of under the puddle or whatever the Aries calls his show with
Avoiding the puddle, yeah, avoiding the puddle.
with Jop and Eddie Pistons basically bashing the game, and people kind of said like, hey, you know, Tom didn't really defend the game.
First of all, let me just say this for the further accusations here. Let me just say that that was a very awkward situation. I tried to avoid the subject. First of all, let's be serious here. I defend this game in this community constantly. And but if you guys want to know why would I defend it, I'm coming on a show where I was just being blown up seconds before I came on here, and people have the nerve to say, "Why didn't you defend us?" People in this community don't even defend me. You guys want me to defend you? But the reason is because it's an argument I've had with those guys before, and it's just not something I wanted to get into. It was a podcast to be about Tekken, and it was their opinion, and I just didn't want to get into the argument. So, it was like, let them voice their opinion. I just wanted to get through this subject as quickly. I mean, no matter what I say, their opinion's not going to change, and it's just unfortunate because I do really like the game. But when somebody brings up those issues, be it the invincible glitch or input bug or player one advantage, I can't deny they exist. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is a fact that those things exist. So it puts me in a very, very awkward situation where I don't want to talk about it. And I just wanted to get through it as much as possible.
Well, I mean, look, I don't. I see in the chat right now, Grow 870. See the difference between our community and all these other communities. I don't think I've ever heard an MK player go out and bash any game until theirs get, and it's not to make it sound like a cop out, but basically it's a knee jerk reaction to somebody saying our game sucks for us to go out and say their games suck. You know, you don't see threads here or, you know, conversations on it of, well, this is why Tekken sucks on Test Jemai. You don't see that because we're, you know, us as a community, we're kind of isolated from the fighting game community, really. And the fact that the fighting game community or branches of the fighting game community kind of don't take us serious, you know, and, you know, we kind of got MLG to thank, you know, yes, and you heard it right, MLG to thank, to basically putting us in a position which, let's be realistic, enrages a lot of these so-called haters.
Okay, well, first of all, let's be realistic about a couple of things here, and these are what cause a lot of the arguments around here. If you really were to be realistic about things here, first thing is that, number one, outside of the Capcom umbrella, Mortal Kombat is the second biggest fighting game community. Tekken will never come close to the numbers Mortal Kombat does. Tekken Tag 2 will probably have about 250 people at EVO. Mortal Kombat 9 is MK's first time back in the scene. And whatever numbers we have now are only going to be infinitely bigger coming just than Mortal Kombat 10. I think we can all agree on that. Mortal Kombat 9's first time back around has had more numbers than the entire history of the Tekken franchise. More people like it, more people play it. The thing, Tekken has a huge legacy curve. Mortal Kombat doesn't give us that kind of legacy curve to that point. It has like a thing like, you know, from DC to MK9 had a certain legacy curve, you know, but it doesn't give you that legacy curve that Tekken gives you. Each Mortal Kombat is a new game. You can have 10 years of Mortal Kombat knowledge, and it doesn't mean anything in the new game. You know, it's every man for himself, and I think that's what helps people attract Mortal Kombat. It is very frustrating when you try and learn a new game, and somebody can have 10 years of experience over you, and you're like, well, that's bullshit. Why should you have 10 years? You know, what are you going to say to a new player? Well, it's your fault. You should have played this game 10 years ago. You know, that legacy curves are a problem. You know, Street Fighter, when it tries to make things more user-friendly to negate their legacy curves, to get more players, and it has been effective. Mortal Kombat really does things to negate their legacy curve. Everything is new. Everything is fresh. You know, it's always a new game. It's always new ideas. And that keeps people coming in. You know, it's always a new game to learn. You know, no matter who you are in the community, you're still on the same footing as the newest player day one. Everyone has to learn from the ground up. Tekken doesn't give you that. Tekken does have a steep learning curve because there's just so many strings you have to know. Your movement is a thing, you know, just the mid-low mix-ups. I mean, you just have to really get your spacing down and know how to attack, how to defend. It is complicated. And I'm not going to say it's a bad game. I mean, Jop bashes Tekken just as much as he bashes Mortal Kombat. So does, you know, EP. They talk about every game equally. They're not these MK haters. You know, they'll talk about Tekken's sketchy collisions, some of the bugs Tekken has. They talk about it equally. So they're not a bunch of MK haters, you know. But
it's what it is, and this is my opinion. This is another typical example of people in the communities that put them, and there's nothing wrong with opinions. We all know I'll say my opinions, and I could be wrong on them. At least I'll admit I'm wrong with them. But there's people out there that put themselves in imaginary positions of authority. And when people hear those people bash things, they take it to heart. You know, it would be like if you were to come out, you know, and yeah, I understand people said you didn't defend it, but if you were to come out tomorrow and be like, yo, MK9 is a piece of shit, anybody that plays it sucks, that would kind of rock the MK scene. And now,
I never said that.
No, but what I'm saying is, you get people like Jop, who runs the fucking House of Goofs, you know, and it's like he's looked at in a certain light. Now, my personal opinion is, motherfucker got blown up, and because he got blown up, he decided to hate the game. Had he won that Evo, I guarantee you he would have never bashed the game.
That's not true. You don't understand. Job hates everything. I guess you guys don't understand. He hates everything equally. But the thing is, first of all, let's just talk about a few things here that I think give to this notion. Mortal Kombat players, nobody out there doesn't look at Mortal Kombat like a legitimate fighting game. They may say it's buggy, but nobody will say it's a scrubs game. Mortal Kombat used to be considered a scrubs game, meaning anyone up the street can win. It takes no skill. While people criticize the bugs, you never hear somebody say it's a scrub game. It's a scrubby game to play, that it takes no skill to win in the game. Jump and EP have on record many times, and they say without Mortal Kombat's bugs, it is the best fighting game out right now. They say that constantly, that without the bugs, it is a tough place for scrubs to go to Mortal Kombat 9. You have no chance. There's no gimmicks. There's no random comeback factor. There's no miracles to be had. The only problem is its functionality. That's all the only problem they have with it. And they do raise a valid point. They may not have voiced it in a logical manner. It came the way it was presented. The way you say something, means a lot. And the way they said it was definitely,
condescending.
I guess in like a condescending manner. But they also compliment the game as well. I think Mortal Kombat players do, however, though, add to their own, their game being seen as, I don't even know the word. Because, you look at guys like Core and Tekken. Does Core ever travel outside his own box? No. He plays Tekken, only Tekken, nothing else but Tekken. Capcom players play Capcom, strictly Capcom, nothing else but Capcom. Yet for some reason, Mortal Kombat players feel that they need to legitimize themselves by dropping Mortal Kombat and going to other fighting games. Whereas those people don't ever leave their form. They'll never do that. You'll never see somebody leave whatever their niche game is and say, I'm going to learn Mortal Kombat. It'll never fucking happen. They may pick up Mortal Kombat on the side, whatever it is, but they're never going to leave their niche game. They're never going to say, I retire from Tekken. I retire from Street Fighter. I'm going to cease to train in that game and come over to this game. But Mortal Kombat players now feel like, well, we need to go to other fighting games, and show we can win there. Why? When those players don't need to go, Mortal Kombat players are
because the reason I believe is, just a sense of, I'll use CD Jr. as an example. He's bouncing around now. I think it's a combination of just the want to be inclusive, because as much as you say it, they don't treat this community like we're part of the fighting game community. We're the redheaded stepchild, and that's the truth. You could say that this player says this about it, and this player says this about it, and he puts props to it. But at the end of the day, we were the redheaded stepchild. And just look at finals. Anywhere streamed on any tournament, anywhere. Look at the final numbers of during the finals. What kind of crowd is there? And you don't see, like you said, you don't see the Street Fighter crowd. Once in a while, if it's two known players, will it get some props? But, if it was, say, I don't know, Pig versus, Big D in the finals, I don't see a crowd lining up to see that, because, A, they don't know who they are, because they're not in touch with this community, and the sad fact is those communities do, to a degree, reach out. The Capcom and Marvel, due to the fact that they're both under the same brand.
Here we have a misconception. I'm reading this guy, because MK is a good game, but it's stiff, slow, and gimmicky. Let me tell you, my friend, Tekken has 10 times the gimmicks Mortal Kombat will ever have. Mortal Kombat takes a lot of dedication, takes a lot of skill. It's not stiff. It's a fucking 2D game. It's a 2D game. When you want to sidestep in Tekken, you're a moron. So, and you know, it's. I mean, aside from Mortal Kombat, I mean, it's not stiff. You know, it's 2D game. You go back, forward, and up. You know, if that's stiff, then don't play 2D games.
Yeah, I definitely don't look at MK as stiff. Tekken, you know, I mean, even the physics to bouncing somebody off the wall, it's almost like you're playing ping pong with the ball against the wall when you're bouncing a guy. I mean, it's a very stiff, you know,
Yeah.
and it's also due to the polygons. It's also due to being 3D, but it is a stiff. It doesn't move fluid.
Yeah, well, here's what I think. I think, first of all, MK community, you guys got to realize the power you have. You guys are protected by the Warner Brothers shield. See, everyone knows your games are going absolutely fucking nowhere. You know, everyone knows that your games will always be featured over Tekken for the rest of time because the name on the back of our box is Warner Brothers. The name on the back of theirs is Namco. They lose for infinity. I mean, and that's something that people need to realize. One, so we're not going anywhere. Two, we have more numbers than they do at tournaments. We travel better than they do. You know, at the very peak of Tekken 6, at the peak, I'm talking international competition from around the world was there. Even some of the Japanese players entered Tekken 6. 250 at their peak. At our lowest, we got 300. At our lowest. Okay, the game is declining. 300. Yeah, so at 500, we've doubled more than Tekken has ever had in the entire history of their franchise. And they still won't come close to hitting 500 this time around. Injustice for Evo, Injustice is only going to compound. When MK9 started, we didn't have what we have in place now. We didn't have, when the game first came out, we didn't have guys like Compton out there running EGP. We didn't have the Vegas guys from the jump, you know, getting new players into it and giving players a place to go and to play. We didn't have, Atlanta was not like steamrolling like they are now. Florida, GGA wasn't like it is now. In all console combat wasn't around day one. When Injustice comes out, there's a lot of areas that have a lot of, things in place to get new players in and playing. And I really think that, Injustice at Evo could have upwards to 600 and 700. And I think, by the time MK10 comes out, we can easily be pulling our standards, 1 to 200 man majors will be a standard. Tournaments like Evo will have, 700, 800, just below their Street Fighter status. Tekken will never break that. Not even close. For whatever the reason is, I don't know why, but it never will. So what you guys have to realize is you already have those numbers. You already have, there's no reason to sit here and be like, oh, we're the redheaded stepchild. No, we're not. People don't mind watching your game. There's one game they can't stand to watch, and it's. I don't know. I think Tekken is a good game. I like Tekken Tag too, but you guys have to realize here, you're in a bigger position of power than they are. While our scene is newer, I think our community is much better than any other fighting game community. And outside the Capcom umbrella, nobody travels for their game better than we do. Period.
No, I agree with that 150%.
So we get more. So we have more numbers at tournaments. We get more views on streams. We're featured at more tournaments. Our team is made by Warner Brothers, so God knows everybody wants to work with them. We win in every aspect. Listen, Tekken is a great game. I like it. But I would be lying if I didn't say that Tekken's legacy curve is a lot of reason why Tekken OGs like it. If tomorrow, when Tekken Tag went to Tekken 4, a lot of Tekken Tag OGs quit the game because their legacy curve was gone, and they'd rather quit than play it. And that game is seen as a bad game by some Tekken players. I think Tekken's legacy curve is what scares away new players. So I look at MK. If MK9 kept a legacy curve, if MK went through 4 or 5 years of games just like MK9, and I was a new player, do you think I want to play myself, me being the first time touching the game versus me playing the game for 4 years? Why the fuck would I want to do that? That's not very fun. A new game came out. It's new to me. I got to learn everything. You don't got to learn shit. What the fuck fun is that? You know? How is that fun? It's just, you know, there are just the little things. But the same thing can be said for things in Mortal Kombat. You know, you can say, you know, how fun is it that I want to get into this game and I can't hit down on a button? That makes me angry. You know, what kind of fun is that? I mean, you know, I don't know. But MK players have nothing to be ashamed of. The fact is, you don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to play any other game to be seen as a legitimate fighting game player. Your game is going absolutely nowhere. It's not the people that make our game that are on the hot seat because the game doesn't sell. You know, Harada said this is the last Tekken that will be like this because of just how bad it has sold. So Tekken, as we know it, is done now.
This is the thing about Tekken, and this is my opinion. You know, I've played Tekken 1, 2, 3, 4, Dark Resurrection, or whatever the hell it was. I played 6. At the end of the day, like you said with Mortal Kombat, there's always some variable put into the equation that's so new that if you just picked up the game, yeah, the basics is there. You know, whether it be X-rays, the run button, the 3D factor, there's always a twist to it that's so innovative towards the game that it's not as simple as just
day one. It's always, but also the thing is, you know, like, you know, for a lot of people that are upset at me for not defending the game in this podcast, they have to understand this. I'm in a lot of other fighting game communities. Now, if somebody comes to me or somebody brings up the subject of these issues and I pretend like they don't exist or I don't acknowledge that, yes, they exist, but it's unfortunate, then I'll be seen as not someone who knows what the fuck they're talking about in fighting games. I'll be seen as some guy who's just an MK homer and is going to turn his back on every issue. And then if another game comes out and I say, this game is good, they fixed all these problems, people will just look at me and they'll say, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. This guy doesn't even want to admit half of these problems over here. You know, it's an uncomfortable position for me because when people bring up those issues with the game, it's the truth. You see what I'm saying? So, I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to go in. Believe me, the last thing I want to do is go on a podcast on the input bug, or random player advantage, or random frame advantage, or the invincible glitch. That's the last thing I want to go into on the podcast. So if I start arguing and I'm caught between a rock and a hard place where they say, does this exist? What about this? What about this? Do you condone that? I definitely didn't want the issues with the game being highlighted. You know, I didn't want to turn. You can't sell negativity. I didn't want a podcast of simply negativity where we're going to start discussing every single flaw with every fighting game. I'd much rather move past it and let's get back to talking about the good stuff in these fighting games. So that's why I just wanted to move past it. I just saw where it was going.
All right. Well, listen. Hold on a second. Only because you do know who Homeboy Tyson is. I'm sure you've heard his tracks in the past. He basically made a new song, and he wants me to play it, so I will oblige him. And, of course...
First of all, I want to say again, why would anybody even want me to defend them? Pherleece is on here. Blowing me up, trying to make me seem like the biggest piece of shit in the community. Why would you guys even want someone like that defending you anyway? This guy, you sound like you're just mad at taking because replacing MK. You should be bashing the Capcom community in Evo. What the fuck are you talking about? Replacing it how? What are you talking about?
You
Nothing
sound
is
like you
replacing
are
anything.
just made at Tekken, because Tekken is...
It's not replacing it. It's not replacing it at all. Does anyone know what the main event game is at MLG?
Mortal Kombat.
Yes, it is. So...
Alright, so hold on a second. You get to listen to this exciting track by Homeboy Tyson.
He can't listen to it. He's not watching the stream.
Oh, that's right.
This guy says it won't be for long. What this guy doesn't know is, no, it will be out by the time they start up again. You mad? It ain't just replacing stuff. You mad, dog?
I may be gay, them two fucks or some real faggots. Hot pocket nigga, hot
You must be mad.
Just by the way, I never said you were the biggest piece of shit in this whole community. And, you know, you said what you just said, but you still didn't even, like, acknowledge what I did.
Pherleece, to be honest with you, I didn't even know you sent me stuff. If that was something that was done to Triforce, whatever, I didn't even know.
But I'm just letting you know that I asked Triforce if he told you that I am the one, just because I was
No,
the
he
one.
didn't. No, he did not. And you know what? You know what's so funny? I keep this shit personal, my personal shit, and I don't air anything in the community. But this community takes every fucking cheap shot at me. Nobody ever comes to me. It doesn't matter if... Alright, what under the bridge, man. Thank you, Pherleece. I appreciate it.
No, I mean, I'm gonna take some of it back because, I mean, he didn't tell you, then I don't know.
You can't take it back when it's out there, man. I mean, but, you know, this is just the story of the community, man. You know, it's all right, man.
Yeah, but granted that, you know, if
no.
Triforce don't open his fucking mouth, you know, I mean, you know what, dude, not for nothing, I'd be pissed too, you know, in that situation. I'd be like, yo, you know, I don't have to do shit for anybody but myself, my wife, and my fucking government, unfortunately. You know, and
I mean, I didn't even know.
you know, and the fact that he didn't say something, then, you know, you can't be mad at Pherleece if he didn't know. As far as he knows, you know, he's saying, here, fucking help the motherfucker out, and he's going, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I have a few personal issues that I think are really fucked up with some people in this community. But I'm going to go to those people and say, rather than airing it on the On Blast show, so everybody else can say, wow, that's fucked up. Yeah. Either way, I don't want to get into personal issues. But, you know, I just feel like this community doesn't realize the power they have, Jimmy. I mean, MK is not the redheaded stepchild of the arcade.
It is in the eyes of ourselves, in ourselves, because, you know, you look at, you know, and it's simple. Look at the numbers, look at the streams, look at the way we get treated, and we're shoved in corners and in fucking bathrooms in Texas.
No, every stream, every grassroots stream, every game gets treated like that.
But that's the thing. But we're at this point right now where, you know, we're that little fucking bird that got kicked out of the fucking nest, and we can fly now. But yet, rather than us fly, everybody kind of clips our wings.
Everyone is kicked out of the nest. It's a Capcom-biased grassroots community. It doesn't matter what game it is. It's a Capcom-biased community.
Oh.
You know, it's all biased toward Capcom games. It's all run by Capcom. I mean, every single major tournament, every game takes a backseat to Street Fighter and Marvel. Period. So it does. Every game does. And like I said, outside of the Capcom umbrella, we have the biggest tournament numbers. Is our game.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do. I mean, we you know, we all see that. I mean, you know, I've you know, the 200 people, the 100 people that come into this room is half of that offline scene, which unfortunately is not, in my opinion, good enough. You know, we ain't gaining new players. And
hold on, this guy, no one is shitting on Tekken. I didn't say it was a bad game or anything like that. No one is shitting on Tekken.
You know, I mean, my face
people
sucks.
play what they
My
want.
face sucks. You got to understand also, nobody is shitting on Tekken. Tekken's a separate. See, the difference between the MK community and all these other games, we don't go out of it. Like I said earlier, we don't go out of our way shitting on games. We just don't do it. We're too consumed with our own little world, our little WWE rivalries. You know, people are wondering if I'm making cantaloupes or if Rio's trolling somebody or if Pig's calling somebody out. Our community thrives on its own. But for some reason, this umbrella of a FGC community, you know, doesn't, and this is real, you know, and this is like you said, it's due to the Capcom bias. They don't embrace us like they embrace these other. I mean, even just go to like a NEC or a, you know, we're always the smallest room, even though, you know, next to the little freaking Guilty Gears and the Blaze Blues, we're always out of the top tier games. We're treated as the least, and that's just been the way it is, and that's the way it is.
Who treats you as that?
Look at any of the Philadelphias. You know, the room that we've been in with that same room. How come we don't get moved into that Tekken room? You know what I'm saying? It's never.
The Tekken room. Let me tell you right now. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
What?
That's always been the Tekken room, even before Mortal Kombat even had
Okay,
it.
but that's what my point is. You know, we're not greeted as anything but a third-class citizen in the fighting game community.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, come on.
I'll say this again. We are treated like the second biggest tournament scene. You know when I went to CEO, both CEOs was like, Tom, you playing Tekken 6? I say, no, sir. I only play games that have a minimum of 60 entrants. That's what I said as a joke. But it was the truth. Because they didn't have that at all. You know, and we did. Both times. You know, we get to say that to them. Hey, man, you think about picking up Tekken? You know, I don't know. I like to play games that people play. You know, that more than 30 people play. You know, I mean, but there's no reason to go that route. Like, I don't insult it, but if somebody is going too far with the MK jokes, then I'll go that route. And I'll say, well, listen, since we're making jokes, here's some of my jokes. You know, I mean, because, you know, I believe me, I don't stand there and let Mortal Kombat get insulted. I don't. And I feel like too much of this is being pressed on Tekken because Jop, I guess, is known as mainly as a Tekken player, and it's not about Tekken. I mean, every fighting game scene bashes every other fighting game. There's always some reason why their game is the best game, or their game is the most skilled, or their game. They all do that.
I understand that, but what I was saying is, and you can't deny.
If you want to talk, hold on, Jimmy. If you want to talk about the redheaded stepchild, it's Tekken and Dead or Alive because
No
everybody
way, dude. I don't know. I mean, were we in different venues in Philadelphia?
Deal with the joke. But look, Street Fighter players get on Tekken all the time. Tekken players get on Street Fighter. You know, I mean, it's no different. You know what I'm saying? They both do the same thing. I mean, you heard Eddie Pistons make fun of Street Fighter in the podcast also. Didn't he make fun of, you know, Street Fighter players think they're good because they can throw Fireball or Dragon Uppercut? He's getting just as much heat for making fun of Street Fighter. And you don't think Street Fighter players make fun of Tekken? I hear them make fun of Tekken all the time. You know? Yet for some reason, the only thing that people are focusing on is, oh, he's some MK hater. When in reality, in that podcast, they talked about each game equal.
Yeah, but I can't. I personally, I am not going to defend the Capcom community for the simple fact that it's not my game. I can't speak. I mean, and I'm not by no way saying it's broken or it's great or nothing. I cannot give an opinion on something. I can't defend something that has people there that are there to defend it on their own.
But you don't have to defend. The bottom line is this: the MK community just needs to worry about themselves.
Exactly, and that's at that point. Nobody.
You don't need anybody else to tell this community that they have the fucking numbers. Okay, If anybody really wants to make fun of anyone that makes fun of a bug in MK, there's always a bug you can make fun of there. Somewhere else. There's always something you can make fun of. The one thing no one can ever say to Mortal Kombat players anymore is, who plays your game? Nobody plays your game. Where are the numbers? We have the numbers. Period.
Yeah, we do. But I do disagree with you on the aspect of us being treated like the redheaded stepchild. I mean, at the end of the day, dude, it's very simple. The guy who's driving in the limo, he's treated like he's the top dog. The guy that's pulling up in a Yugo, that's the guy you're kind of like, eh.
Again, I'll say this again though. We are the second biggest tournament scene when it comes to fighting games. Okay, outside of the Capcom umbrella. First up is Mortal Kombat. Because you guys don't seem to understand.
But what I'm saying is, at events, okay, like Big E's.
No, that's not true.
It is true.
I'm not going. No. MK9. No, see, this is the sympathetic bullshit. No.
It is. No, I'm not looking for sympathy. No. I'm not looking for sympathy. It's a fact. No. Capcom's in the biggest.
It was featured at so many fucking tournaments.
Look, Big E.
You know how many games got shit on?
Big E. Dude, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about games getting shit on. Dude, who had the biggest room at fucking NEC?
Street Fighter had the biggest room.
Who had the second biggest room? Who had the second biggest room?
This doesn't.
Tekken.
It's not about the biggest.
It's about the fighting game community. It's not about the numbers. It's about the people that are in those positions.
But you know,
Wasn't
even
it
when
Tekken and Soul
even when
Calibur?
that game had died, they.
Well, Filthy Rich was there. Nobody from you know what I mean. Like they had like more sponsorship. Like they actually showed up.
No, they've always had that room to begin with. Also, they've always had that room.
I heard it's gonna be different for NEC.
No, they've always had that. They've always had that room.
Hey James, the street.
When I was ranting.
Oh, what man! What do I need to bridge, man?
But I also do feel that people do understand. Like you're always traveling. Shit happens. Money doesn't last forever. Well, I wish it did.
I love that.
I hope we can still be friends.
Yeah, we're fine, man. We're fine. I just never seen MK players so self-conscious. To me, I'm shocked. How can you have so many numbers? And it just when you get offended about comments like that, it just shows how self-conscious we really are. Like maybe our game really is trash. No. Get the fuck out of here, man.
We're back on, by the way.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Yeah, I'm just, you got to think about it. I think problem one, I don't like any MK player feeling like that they are compelled to move on somewhere else. I don't like that. Like I said, you look at a guy like Core, he's known for Tekken. He doesn't go anywhere else but Tekken. He plays Tekken non-stop. You love Mortal Kombat. Why should you have to stop what you love when nobody else stops what they love? Especially when that's not how you build a community, by abandoning it. And I know someone says, Tom, you abandoned this community. I didn't abandon this community at all. I'm just bitter about a lot of things that I felt at that time it would just cause nothing but arguments if I was still around. So I wasn't abandoning it at all. But if people love to play the game, then don't put it down and go somewhere else. There's no reason to do so. So unless you really want to, unless you're really genuinely interested, but you shouldn't do it simply because, I think I have to, Also, whenever a new fighting game comes out, it always makes a splash. That's the nature of the fighting game world. New fighting game comes out. Tekken Tag 2 is out right now. So it's the hot topic. When MK9 came out, anybody talk about Tekken 6? No. Anybody talk about Marvel 3? No. Well, then Ultimate Marvel 3 came out. It's whenever a new game comes out that happens. When Injustice comes out, what do you think the buzz will be?
It all depends. It all depends on the support that NRS puts into the scene as well. You know, one of the big
NRS
factors.
puts the most support into it. Look, I'm on the front lines of MLG here, guys. I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's MLG.
NRS and Warner Brothers have put money in.
Yes,
Namco
but that's
has not put
MLG.
shit.
Now, when you
Yeah.
once
Sony
again,
is
I'll go
the
back.
only one that puts money in.
Yeah.
Why do you think the Sony rep gets so mad? Because Namco wasn't putting a dime in the Soul Calibur. And it was all Sony putting their money in, and nobody still fucking showed up. So the Sony rep guys got angry because Sony's putting all the money up and nobody's showing up.
Yeah, but even on the grassroots levels, those companies, the Namcos and them, they're putting money into those smaller venues, and that is why.
Not really. Not like Warner Brothers is.
No, not at MLG. Because in their eyes, come on, dude. Two fucking events mean shit to me. Two events mean shit. There's all these other.
Okay, you know what? Namco has never put $1 into Tekken at Evo.
Okay, that's fine. But they do at the grassroots.
No, they don't. They don't. They have never done that. Maybe they'll do it with Tekken Tech too. I don't know, but they don't.
They didn't put money in for Soul Calibur in the beginning?
I think a final round they did when it first came out.
You know, I mean, I don't want to. I mean, my belief is this: that a lot of the grassroots promoters push games beyond Mortal Kombat, which were based off of the money that they were taking in by company. I remember having Namco come to one of the events that Big E held, and they brought in the cabinets.
I know every tournament promoter. Look at the names here: Capcom, Warner Brothers, Namco. Which one do you think people want to do business with the most?
Capcom.
You think, if they had a choice, Capcom or Warner Brothers?
I don't know, because I'm a believer. I'm a believer. No.
Who can do more for you?
It's not a matter of that.
It's
not a matter of the fact that the WB logo is plastered on it. It's honestly, I don't think the promoters listen to the players in the community. Now, if the players
everything is Capcom bias, but you have. I can't stress this enough. What you don't understand is Mortal Kombat outside of Capcom is the king of the hill. That's what people don't realize yet in this community. Warner Brothers and NetherRealm supports their game better than anyone. Period. Okay, Capcom. You know why Capcom has these numbers? Someone at MLG asked me that. Why is Capcom so much bigger than Mortal Kombat? Because 2D games are just bigger than 3D games as far as overall numbers. Just the bottom line. But Street Fighter, being the flagship title of Capcom, has had... The Evo series is built on Street Fighter. Street Fighter has had 10-plus years to build the scene it has now. And there hasn't been another 2D fighter with a name big enough to rival Street Fighter, because Mortal Kombat has been absent. This is the first time there's a 2D game big enough, with a big enough name, to actually rival Street Fighter. However, Capcom has 10-plus years of building a scene. You know what Shoryuken was 10 years ago? That's what Test Your Might is right now. Okay? Do you think 10 years ago Shoryuken.com was as big as it is now? Does anybody in their right fucking mind think that?
No.
No. Evolution didn't start until 2001, 2002. You think the first Evo had the same numbers as the last Evo? Does anybody really believe that? Absolutely not. I mean, so they have 10-plus years of building an established tournament scene. We just started. But the good news is, it's not one of those things where you look at Mortal Kombat and you say, well, MK9 came out, it was new or whatever, but it fizzled out. We have scenes have localized themselves. East Coast, West Coast, South, Southwest area, Midwest area. They've all localized themselves. So every area has already got a local scene. So what happens now when future MK titles come out, be it Injustice or MK10, those scenes are going to grow and grow and grow. Right now, at almost anywhere in the country, we can pull a 40-man tournament. almost anywhere, just from local.
I mean, I've seen 40 man, I've seen 12 man.
But my point is, but when something like Injustice comes out, and those numbers grow, you're going to get new players, and all the old players come back, and get new players. Those localized scenes go even bigger. And then you're going to start having 50, 60 local tournaments. And if locals are around 50 to 60, majors turn out to be between 120, 115, 200. If majors are between 115 and 200, then a tournament like Evolution is going to have about 700. And, okay, so our numbers increase a little bit from MK9. MK10 comes out. And those numbers are going to increase. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a gradual process. By the time MK10 hits and established, we will probably have had a good, solid 4 to 6 years of building a scene. And our scene will be big, by far bigger than anyone else's outside of Street Fighter, and getting up there with Street Fighter. No other scene has a chance. I mean, I don't know. I know Namco is rebuilding Tekken. They're going back to formula on it. And this is the last one. So, I mean, maybe, with a new game, it'll pick up pretty big. But right now, we're the only ones with a chance to rival Street Fighter in the next, 5 to 6 years, numbers-wise. And I think we can. But people shouldn't put, you don't do that by putting your game down. You don't do that by being ashamed of. There was for a long time. There was a time where you were ashamed to go to a competitive scene and say, "My main game is Mortal Kombat," because the game had all kinds of issues and little scrubby things to it, yada yada. But now is not that time. You should never be ashamed.
I mean, me personally, honestly, I ain't never been ashamed. There ain't nobody that should ever have been ashamed. And I don't understand this myth that these other games were like the closest to perfect. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll go far back as Street Fighter 2 and say Guile handcuffs, Dhalsim shutting machines off. All these motherfuckers have put games out with his major fuck ups. But they choose to ignore that shit. And sometimes the only way I could describe it is like I feel like their games are like an episode of The Simpsons where the motherfucker's been on for 25 years and he's still in the third grade. And then you get, a show like South Park, which may look shittier, but it was innovative enough to say, hey, why don't I just make the characters get older and develop? We are, as the game develops, this community as a whole is going to develop. Their communities are the same. Since the beginning of Street Fighter competitive, it has not changed one bit. I mean, I've heard people, with the trolling and the little perky things, and you got the team thing that's going on with MLG, and you got, players that were a nobody today that all of a sudden, and don't take it to heart, Pig, but Pig was a nobody, now he's a top player. You don't see that in the Street Fighter community. Maybe once in a while, all of a sudden, some nobody comes up. It's basically always been like, you're Justin Wong, you're Ricky Ortiz.
Whoa, Justin Wong. When he came up in Marvel, you know what they said? He was a nobody. I mean, everybody started as a nobody.
But my point is this: they don't develop players.
They do, but to say Pig was a nobody. Nobody was anybody when MK9 came out. Pig wasn't a nobody.
No, until Pig came up to NEC, he wasn't as high level ranked.
6 months after the game came
out. That's the point. But our community, we actually take people in our community gain recognition for their actual accomplishments. Now, if he turns around and wins 5 or 6 majors, people recognize him. Yeah, we go through. We go through.
Thing now, though.
What?
We have the same thing now. Don't players like myself, Rio, Pig, whatever, in Injustice, we'll still get recognition above some quote unquote nobody who comes in then. The attention. Every community has their politics.
You'll get. I mean, this is what you'll get.
Always at the top. And MK won't be any different than anyone else. It's no different. It's not, I don't know,
Pig, that's nothing. Being top 3 at MKD is nothing to be proud of.
Being top 2 at MK Deception is a joke. Wow. KD is a joke. No, I again, man, it's no different than any other fighting game scene. We're just the newest, but I don't know. I don't think MK players have anything to be ashamed about, and I think they should just keep playing MK. You know, and when justice comes out, go on and win justice. So there is no such thing as, you know, I mean, every gosh, I'm not here to pick Tekken apart. I can pick it apart just as fast as anybody can pick MK apart, or anyone can pick Street Fighter apart. But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to pick anyone apart. I try to go out of my way to not make any enemies or pick anything apart, you know.
But that's what my whole point has been. The MK community doesn't go out of our way. I don't go on somebody else's show to say, Tekken is ass. I don't do it. Neither do most people in this community.
Jimmy, here's a good example. Up north, we don't talk about the Civil War. You know what I'm saying, Jimmy?
Yeah.
We don't talk about the Civil War. We don't give a fuck, right? You know where they talk about it, Jimmy?
Where they lost.
In the South.
Yeah, where they lost.
Where they lost. You know, we know what we are outside of Capcom. We're okay with that. Because we have our numbers, they've been around longer. So, okay, not our time yet. Street Fighter, we know they control the grassroots. Okay, we're okay with that. But we're not losing to anybody else. So, if we're not losing to anybody else, we don't got nothing bad to say. Because we're not losing. See what I'm saying? The people that are losing, the communities that feel like they're getting the short end of the stick, then they want to say something. And even Aris said nothing bad about the game. He said he missed it.
Yeah.
Aris, one of the harshest critics of MK9, said he missed it.
And when he's not sexually harassing girls, he's an alright guy.
I mean, so again, like I said, we are not the redheaded stepchild. That's better odds. DOA is the illegitimate fighting game, not Mortal Kombat. And DOA is the game seen as the illegitimate fighting game, not Mortal Kombat. So, again, you know, like I said, I'm not here to pick any fighting game apart, but from the Mortal Kombat point of view, we're the second biggest scene, man. And by the way, our NetherRealm Studios is by far better to its player base than any other developer. It is. Those guys are better to us than anyone is to their community. I mean, they follow us, they watch our streams, they go to some of our tournaments. I can go to Chicago, and Hector, Brian, and Paul, they'll hang out with me. We'll go out, have a good time, go to the bar, whatever. Jimmy, you know, you and Brian have, you know, had drinks at the bar, you know what, you know, Brian's having drinks with us. You know, I mean, those guys are awesome to us.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't. You know, us as a community, I think we are more successful than the Street Fighter Capcom community as well. Not based off of numbers, you know. And we talked about this the other day. Based off of friendships. I mean, yeah, we are. Let's be real. We're fucked up to each other. We say fucked up things, but you know what? At the end of the day. You know, when somebody is, you know, when a real situation arrives, usually people will rally around that particular person that's dealing with something. Usually, not all the time, because sometimes people either, you know, resources or they're in a pissed off mood, whatever the reason. But you don't see that. I mean, look, how many people have we sent now? with fundraisers and, you know, like fucking Caneless said, with crack sales or whatever to get money to get people. I mean, we're sending, you know, Insuperable. We tried to get Madzine there. You know, Pig ran online tournaments to get people to events. The other communities don't do shit like that, and if they do, it sure as hell ain't seen.
Look, all of the top players aren't even coming.
What's that?
All of Tekken Tag 2's top players aren't even coming to MLG.
No.
I know Fighting GM isn't coming, and you know they're too separated.
Fighting GM, oh yeah, that's right. Shout out to Fighting GM for being a cocksucker, by the way, for dicking us out up to Toronto.
I mean, nobody comes together like we do. And
Wait, how did he dick you out?
Because he was supposed to come with us. We rented a van. Maxter rented a van and got a bigger van because we added Dominion and Fighting GM to go up there. And then on the way to picking him up, he decides to say he's not going. And then winds up because it was, whatever, $75 a head. And rather than pay the $75, he jumped in a ride with somebody else, and his dumb fucking Mexicano ass got fucking turned back at the border. So he went all the way up to Canada and got turned away, supposedly.
He got turned away, or his friend?
He didn't have a passport, or one of them didn't. So, so big fuck you shout out to that asshole.
Wait, what if it was him that didn't have it? And you guys
it don't matter because the point is, no.
He had one.
The point was, we got the extra seating in the van in lieu of adding 2 people. And then Manny said, like, yo, dude, I know you're not going and all, but we got this van because of you. And
did Dominion go?
Dominion wound up coming, yeah.
Oh, wait, where does he live? Like, what part of New York?
In Brooklyn. Brooklyn or the Bronx or something.
So Dominion went, but Fighting GM didn't go.
Yeah. So he wound up dicking out last minute, But that's just typical of how But that's typical of how these other communities function as a whole. Like he saw nothing wrong with doing that.
It's happened to me also, man.
And it's like we have our instances of dickiness. ECT was an example, but for the most part. We I might say pig's an asshole, but I respect him. Or I might say PL, I don't like him as a human being on the planet, but I think he's a great player. But at the end of the day, if I seen him fucking in a position where I was like, yo, I'd help him. When he lost at Columbus, I went over and talked to him. When he won Evo, I went over and congratulated him. The community as a whole is the best community, and if it wasn't, guess what? Sorry, guys, I wouldn't be here. I'm sorry. I got, what's that saying? Time is money, people. I could be out working overtime every Tuesday night making money, but I come and I do this show because I try to entertain you guys. Which, to be honest, it ain't. I got emails and shit from guys saying what a great. I'm not doing shit. You guys do it. If you don't tune in, there ain't no reason for me to be here. And that's one of the things about our scene is, even like, this other fucking pussy, KH Cat, Pussycat, or whatever his name is, breaking my balls for the last couple of weeks. I got nothing against him, but I kind of like that rivalry. I like having, I don't mind people talking shit to me.
What's he breaking your balls for?
Oh, because he was saying I don't travel.
What? You travel all the time.
Yeah, you travel a lot.
Well, that's what he said. He says, he said to me, all I do is make videos about talking shit and trashing people and sit at my house. I'm like, wow, I only went to like...
You travel a lot.
I'm like, I only went to about 20... Actually, I did this. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yo, Maxter, what are you going to school for? Answer me. I've been asking him in the chat. This guy buys a $600 video card on blast because he needs a PC for school. So I want to know what he does.
This way, it's on the record for KH Cat. All you guys can see all this. I'll put on the stream here. These are all tournaments I went to this year. Over 20 tournaments. So I must be doing something. I'm not sitting in my house. And to go to 20 tournaments, never make a dollar.
All together too.
To never make a dollar. I saved them as props for one of my episodes.
Too, I don't know that.
Because you know what? You know why I save them? Because it's memories.
Yeah, I save them too. I'm just saying.
But he broke my balls, and I was a little pissed. I was like, yo, this motherfucker went to a tournament where he sat and fucking played in a bathroom, and now he's gonna tell me that I don't go to events. I don't go to those tournaments that they hold inside a fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken bathroom, but I do go to a lot of events.
Hey, real quick, does anybody know the guy at the tournaments who makes those necklaces for the characters?
I know a lot of them.
Is it? Can we? I want one to go to NEC.
Of what, Sindel?
I need a couple of them. I know a lot of people that want them and stuff, and people keep asking me.
You mean
and
like
I'm
a little,
just
like one of these, little Baraka action?
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Actually,
Yeah,
that one
I was
was
just
made.
showing mine off.
That was made by Catch-22, who actually dropped off at the scene because money, obviously.
I have Quan Chi and Sindel, so I'm good.
You know, but my point
Ah,
is,
man.
my point is
Yeah,
this
Summer
scene.
Jam.
This scene is by far the best. May not have the numbers of turnouts, but the people is
I want
what
to hear
makes the
songs
scene.
from other communities.
You don't see shit like that. You know, when I made that Cantaloupe video with 16-bit, I mean, a lot of people were like, "Yo, that's fucked up." But you know what? At the end of the day, do you guys not think I talk to 16-bit and be like, "Yo, dude, you know, I'm basically gonna fucking jab you a couple of times. You're cool with that?" Now, if he turned around to me like, "No, dude, don't do that. That's fucked up," then you know what? I wouldn't do it. I'm not out to hurt nobody for real. You know, but you know, I mean, at the end of the day, if somebody's cool with it, I go with it. You know, do you not think there's going to be a pig video very soon? Please.
That's been a work in progress.
You know, but
There is.
you know, oh yeah,
Just so you guys know at home, I do defend Mortal Kombat constantly. But the key is to defend it without picking apart somebody else's investment, so to speak. And that's why I said I'm not here to trash Tekken and you know, yada yada yada. I mean, there's no reason to do that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, we're not. I mean, that's what, like I said, I've never. You know, the only time our community gets on the offensive and trashes is when we get trashed, and that's when we're like, "Yo, what the fuck?" But if you know, literally, if you turn around,
Also, trashing the game out of ignorance is bad. To make an ignorant, blanket statement on Tekken without really knowing the game intimately only comes off like, only fuels that hater argument. It just turns into an argument, and it's nothing, it's not a debate anymore. And it's just big for a lot of reasons. It's the second
Stream's down.
biggest fighting game community.
Stream is down.
And this guy's
The fuck's going on with the internet today, James?
I don't know, ain't me. It's still.